Okie dokie. Okie dokie, we are live and we are ready for the Canadian Grand Prix in ESRL. Hello Rick in the chat. I'm very excited to get back to another good race in ESRL. I'm joined today by my commentary compatriot. It is Sumo in the commentary box, I'm glad to say. How are you doing, mate?
Yeah, not doing too bad. It's been a sort of busy-ish week for me, but you know, it's always good to have some ESRL at the end of the week. And of course, we're at the Track Limits Grand Prix, so we're in for a good one.
Yeah, you're not the only one who's had a busy week, but ESRL is always a good end to a busy week, and I'm very much looking forward to what is sure to be a great race. As you say, it is the Track Limits Grand Prix in Canada. One of my favourite tracks, probably my top 3 best tracks on this game. Really like this track on this game, but it's a very tricky one to get perfectly right, isn't that right, Sumo?
Yeah, it is. It's such a tricky little circuit. It is, of course, a street circuit. The walls, once again, are incredibly close, especially at that final corner, known as the Wall of Champions, is very infamous for collecting the odd driver who's pushed just that little bit too hard. There's a lot of chicanes around here. There's 3 DRS zones, if I remember rightly. It's a very twisty, turny circuit, and I think the drivers are going to be suitably challenged this evening.
Absolutely. There are 3 DRS zones. I do feel like one is completely pointless because you would have to be absolutely crazy to make a move into the chicane after the second DRS zone.
7 and 8. I think it's between 7 and 8, that one.
Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 8 and 9. So yeah, you would have to be a madman or very far ahead in terms of speed of your opponent to make a move into turn 8. So yeah, it's one of them's a little bit pointless, but the other 2 definitely we're going to see some moves into the Wall of Champions chicane, I'm sure. And I think we'll see some moves into turn 1 as well. A lot of our drivers, I don't know how much experience they have on Canada, but a very good way to overtake at turn 1 is actually take the outside line and then hang it all the way around the outside through turn 1, and so you have the inside of turn 2. It's a very good way of getting past people. And it looks like it's taken our drivers quite a while to get out the pit lane today.
I think we've just spotted one leaving now. It looks either like a Haas or an Alfa Romeo.
It was an Alfa Romeo. It was Neil, 1997. It's been a while since we've seen Neil back in ESRL, so it's good to see him. 17 strong grid today, which is always great to see. And we've got a few people who don't always make it to ESRL weekends. We've got Major, who's always a great watch in elite leagues. Lostock is back again after a great race he had last week. Myra is back in the Alpine as a reserve, and yeah,
got both Ayrtons tonight as well.
Yeah, we do. We have Ayrton 1 and Ayrton 2. Yeah, I think I'd be surprised if Myra didn't take a permanent seat at some point, because I seem to see them in the Alpine more than anyone else.
Yes, for sure. Myra had a good showing out last week. I think it ended a little bit poorly, if I remember. I don't know. It's been a week, but yeah, it's been a little while. And I was actually thinking there's a few good opportunities to make moves into the hairpin as well. If you get it just right, you do that chicane better than your opponent, and you can set yourself up for a run down into that hairpin there.
Yeah, absolutely. Vardy's made a good point that it could be a wet race, because that's why no one came out at the start, because they were busy adjusting their setups, as Neil invalidates at turn 2, which is an odd place to invalidate. So I'm going to go back on board with Major De Sola, who also goes deep and invalidates at turn 1. So drivers struggling to set a lap at the moment. So let's go on board with Tia, who's just coming up to turn 2 now. Tia not always at the top of the grid in ESRL, but when he puts in a good shift, he really does put in a good shift. And if it is a wet race, then Tia could be in good stead, because he does like the wet.
Yeah, Tia's a rain master. I've had the pleasure of racing against him a few times. He's very, very quick in the rain. I'm another driver who loves a wet race as well, and I'm normally up there fighting with him if we're in the same race together.
Yeah, absolutely, but he's gone very deep at turn 8. Yeah, lucky not to invalidate, must have slowed down just enough. But that's going to cost him quite a lot of time as he comes down to this very tricky hairpin. You've got to get it just right, otherwise you lose a huge amount of time if you get the braking zone even slightly wrong. As he comes down to the DRS zone now, DRS all the way open down to the Wall of Champions chicane. You've got to be very careful down here if you're going to make a move, and Tia taking the Wall of Champions chicane very, very slowly and carefully, just wants to make sure he gets a lap on the board. It's a 12.8 on the mediums, immediately beaten by his teammate with an 11.0. That's more like it. I do think we'll get times in the sort of low 10s today, but an 11.0 should be pretty far up there.
Doesn't matter, low 9s.
Absolutely.
Speed Alcoholic's just done. He's blown you right out of the water there.
Wow, a high 9 from Speed Alcoholic. I do expect him to be challenging for pole today, but you never know what Ayrton and Ayrton 1 is going to have up his sleeve. The championship leader has been unstoppable. He's won every race that he's competed in. The only reason he didn't win last week was because he wasn't on the grid. So 9 races, 8 wins for Ayrton. Can he make it? Sorry, 8 races, 7 wins for Ayrton. Can he make it 8 today?
Here comes Myra coming across the line just now, looking like going to be even faster. It's a 9.5 from the Alpine driver. What a lap. Great
stuff. Wow, I severely underestimated the pace of ESRL drivers today, I think. That's an absolutely fantastic lap from the Alpine, and I am getting intelligence that Myra does now have a permanent seat, which is great to hear.
Awesome.
So they will be on the standings. Tier P6, Sicario has gone P5 in the Aston Martin. Irapol is in P4 now, after Womax has beaten the Haas driver to P3. The Bulgarian putting in a good lap of a 10.7. I think we'll see quite a rift between the drivers. We'll see sort of 2 groups of drivers today. We'll have the top few, which will be Speed, Myra.
That's Red Bull spun round.
That's Avi.
He's on a lap as well. He's kept out of the wall, which looks alright. Aces vs Kings is about to come across the line as well. Let's see what lap time he can put in. He goes P3. And joins his teammate just in P3 there.
Yeah, Avi will be disappointed with that, but that's probably the easiest place to spin on the entire track. Down there at turn 7. It's very difficult exit. It can feel like an ice rink sometimes. We've got Ted in the McLaren. Currently in P12. Scott can't be racing today, unfortunately, but hopefully Ted will do him proud. As here comes the McLaren now through the final sector up towards the Wall of Champions chicane. And sorry for the barking.
It opens that DRS going all the way down. It's a very heavy braking zone. You've got to really be committed in that final chicane there. You can really take a lot off the first curb, but not too much of the second. It's all about exit through there as Ted sets at 11.9. It puts him into P7.
Yeah, beating Tia, but I think a little bit further off the pace than Ted would have wanted. Here is Amir, currently in P12. He hasn't set a lap yet, but he's gone out on the mediums. I don't know if he's going to stay on the mediums. There's some very distinct strategies you can do around here, which I won't reveal until the race start, because if anyone's watching, it could influence what tyres they go on in qualifying. I'm not saying that the mediums are better. I'm not saying the softs are better, but Amir is coming now to the Wall of Champions chicane. How far off the pace is he going to be? on those medium tyres.
But Ted's had a spin in sector 2 there. He's that's, what was that, turn 10? Was that 9? It's 10.
Amir coming across the line. It's a 10.3 on the mediums. A very good lap from Amir, showing that he can be competitive today for the win with pace like that. Wall of Championship.
Too much next.
Oh, yep, Hoots Too Much coming across the line in the Alpha Tauri up to the Wall of Champions chicane.
That's very committed through there. Could give him a little jump up the grid, will it? No, not too much. It puts him in P9.
12.0, just behind Ted's time. Moti Peretz has just gone behind and beaten that by a slight amount. Also a 12.0, but P9 for the Ferrari. Ayrton 2 coming across the line in the Ferrari. That looked a little bit tentative through Wall of Champions. You can definitely be a lot more committed through there. 11.5 from the Ferrari, not too bad. Who else is on a lap? It's Neil about to come across the line now in the Alfa Romeo. Got to be careful of the Red Bull going slowly. Can Neil set a lap after the first one? He invalidated at turn 2. Not what he would have wanted. You always want to be able to set a good banker lap and get yourself at least on the grid first, and then you can start pushing in the later laps. And he's gone to
P6.
Yeah, P6, decent lap from the Alfa Romeo.
Yeah, he looked very smooth out of the final chicane there. That's whoa, and he's crashed!
Oh!
He's gone straight into the wall. That's going to be an obstacle for anyone about to set a lap. He's gone just on the exit of turn 2 there. He's hit the wall.
Oh yeah, there he is. Major's got to be careful there, his teammate. There's also a Red Bull, that's Avi. I don't know if Neil's car is going to despawn before Avi gets there. It's not, still there, so Avi's got to be careful and navigates past. What about Womax? Should be fine. And Eat Apple also into the wall, nearly has another spin at turn 2. That's the other place on this track, which can feel like an ice rink at times, but Eat Apple's got to be careful because Ayrton 2 is just behind. Is the Ferrari on a lap? Don't collide with the stricken Haas. He doesn't. That's good to see. But yeah, Ayrton 2 up into P7. I don't know if that was... I don't know if he was always there. I can't remember. But Major has invalidated that lap, so still nothing on the board for the German.
Here comes Tier coming through that final chicane now. He's on the soft tyres this time. He's 8/10 up after the sector 2 line. Let's see where that's going to put him. It's looking like a decent time. It puts him just on the fringes of the top 10.
Not bad at all from Ted. He's certainly getting better out there. Here comes
Avi.
Avi, yeah, across the line into P2, 909.5, just 8 hundredths behind the pole time of Myra. So that's very good stuff from Avi, who was our race winner last time out in Australia. Just across the line, 7 thousandths of a second ahead of Lostock, but Lostock had more penalties, so it didn't matter as much as it seemed. But still, Avi will be hungry for another win today, and at least to get himself on the podium after a confidence-boosting performance last week.
Yeah, certainly. Speed Alcoholics a 10th up on his time. It's going to put him up into a 9.8, but it's not going to see him move positions. I think Ted's back out as well. He's just starting a lap speed to get out of the way for that. Who else have we got coming along? Here he's going again, is he? He's way down on his time and he's invalidated there. So that's not going to help him out at all in this qualifying session. Major Disola still struggling with track limits at the moment, and Ayrton's still yet to come out.
Oh, Womax very committed through the Wall of Champions chicane. That was pretty good. Across the line comes Womax. It's a 109.8. Splits the Mercedes. The Bulgarian only 100th of a second off Speed Alcoholic, which I'm sure he'll be extremely happy with. It looks like Womax likes this track.
Yeah, it looks like a few of the drivers like this track. Myra, Avi, Speed, anyone in the 1 minute 9s likes this track. It's seeming here, and Aces isn't far off the back of them at all.
Not at all. Major is on another lap, the German, but again he's gone deep at turn 8. Hasn't invalidated his lap, slowed down just enough. We've got yellow flags. Hoots Too Much has retired from the session at the exit of turn number 5. But here comes the Alfa Romeo through the hairpin and onto the back straight. Opens DRS.
Oh, that's risky.
Here he comes. Was that the stricken car at turn 5?
Yeah, it was. It's right on the racing line. When you want to be
dear.
right out wide, you can't. As you've got to kind of thread the needle between the wall and the stricken car, which I think has now despawned.
Yeah, it has. Major invalidated yet again. Ted has now retired from the session. That looks like turn 6. Let's see if we can get a view.
Yeah, he was well off. I think he might have. Let's have a look. There's a Ferrari coming up to him now.
Yeah, there
it's
it
well
is.
Off to the side, yeah, by the grandstands there. Might have outbroke himself or lost it on the first part of the corner entry there. That's a shame for the McLaren driver.
Yeah, must have misjudged something there. So it's certainly a shame, but I think he might just be happy to be out of the 1 minute 12s. Moti Peretz is in the pits. Ayrton, the championship leader, still in the pits as well. He's going to do his either going to stay in the pits and start from the back, or he's going to do a lap right at the end, as he usually does. Ayrton 2 still on an out lap. Aces is coming across the line to start a lap. Amir is 6/10 down. Is Lostock on a lap in the Aston Martin? I think they might be, with the Sebastian Vettel helmet there. So here comes Lostock now through sector 2.
Yeah, you've got to be quite committed in a lot of the chicanes around this circuit. Most of all the final one, as we have repeatedly said throughout the qualifying session so far. No, Lostock is way down. He's 5 seconds down on his previous time. Okay. I don't think he's on a lap there.
Myra is on an out lap, so I think I'm going to ride on board with Myra for the entire lap, the Alpine. The pole sitter, to see if they can improve on that time of 1 minute 9.5.
Aces has just set a purple sector 2, sorry.
Okay.
He's coming through into the final sector now. He had a bit of a lock-up in the final, in the hairpin, just before that major straight. He's a 10th up. That might have cost him a bit of that time. He's going to be very committed. He's looking to break into the 1 minute 9 to get in amongst this fight with his teammate.
Well, Myra has invalidated at turn 1, so I've switched back to Aces versus Kings. Across the line he comes. That was not as committed as you could be through the Wall of Champions chicane, but it's still a very good time from the Mercedes. 1 minute 9.7 puts him into P3, just ahead of Amir and his teammate.
Circuit.
But yes,
Ayrton
it is
has
Ayrton
found his way out.
Starting a lap. I'm going to ride on board with the AlphaTauri. Here he comes. He's wearing the, I think that's the Devon Butler helmet. From Breaking Point. So here comes the Dane, the championship leader, through turn 3 and 4. Very hesitant there. We've got yellow flags further ahead. I think that's just a car getting out the way. Through to turn 5, you've got to hug the inside and here as well, and you've got to use all of the track on the exit of turn 7. He's purple through sector 1 already. Here he comes with DRS up towards the next corner, the next chicane. A little bit of an oversteering moment, but managed to save the car, and he will continue the lap. He's got to hope that this car doesn't get in the way, and doesn't, thankfully. So here comes Ayrton now to the hairpin. It might have still been a little bit of a distraction though, as he opens DRS now onto the back straight leading onto the Wall of Champions chicane. Here he comes. You can take the right-hander much more aggressively than you think without... but he's coming to the pits. He's not going to complete that lap. So either not happy with that lap, or just giving us a bit of a tease, the Dane.
Yeah, I can't quite see how long of the session we've got left. It's
40 seconds.
It's going to be very tight for him to set a lap. He could be starting at the back of the grid here.
He is going to be starting at the back, but I'll tell you here who isn't. Avi84. He's gone onto pole position for now. A 1 at 9.2. He's beaten Myra by 3/10, and his previous time also by 3/10. But Myra is 4/10 up, or 3.5 rather, on the back straight now. We'll watch the Alpine as they come through the Wall of Champions chicane. Are they going to take the right-hander very aggressively? Yes, they are, but they've invalidated a bit too aggressively. Is there time for another lap lap? Yes, there is, but those tyres are already 3 laps old now.
And look at the fuel. The fuel's flashing red as well. I think Mara might just run out of fuel before they can set another lap time.
It is indeed, and very wide through turn 1 and has slowed down, so Myra is not going to challenge for pole. Aces is invalidated. Amir is on a lap. Could it be a Red Bull front row lockout? Its Speed Alcoholic is 3/10 up as well. Can Speed get a monumental final sector? Eat Apple
Amir's
goes
a
into
10th
P7.
down.
Here he comes, Speed Alcoholic. Can he do any better? Can he put himself into P4 or P3 or the front row? Here comes the Mercedes through the final chicane, a little bit conservative, just didn't want to invalidate this lap. And it's a 109.3, just a 10th off Avi, so clearly
Amir's crashed!
Oh, Amir's
At
crashed
the final corner!
at the Wall of
Kevin
Champions.
Magnussen did.
Oh no, so Amir definitely not challenging for pole, but can Womack do anything? The Bulgarian has been lightning fast so far in this qualifying session, down to the final chicane. That was perfect through there, got to avoid the Red Bull, comes down to the line, it's not bad. Oh, but clearly lost some time there at some point in the lap, 3/10 down, but still P6 is a good result for Womack. And he's not too far off the pace either. In fact, I'd say he's pretty much on the pace. So we could see a Womack in the top 5 today.
Yeah, it looks like that's your qualifying session, and no, Myra's in the pits as well. So that's going to do it for qualifying here at Canada. That was a very interesting quali session. There's some clear favourites. The top 6 drivers all within the 1:09 there for Avi winning out, and heartbreak for Amir as he crashed on the final corner.
Yeah, definitely. It's not been Amir's qualifying session so far. Well, I say so far, it's over now, so it has not been his qualifying session at all. It always sucks when you can't complete that final lap, when you're up on your time, you can see the green delta, you know you've got a chance, and then it all comes apart at a single corner. But it is, as Vardy says in chat, the first pole of the season for Avi84, and he takes it by just under a 10th of a second from the South African Speed Alcoholic, who put in a mighty lap at the end, but it just wasn't quite enough. Myra and Aces fill out the second row. Good result from Aces, but the Finn will be looking to make a charge for the win as well. Amir P5, Womack P6, looking quite impressive there. Eat Apple P7, ERL Sicario P8, and then Neil P9. Ayrton 2 rounds out the top 10, and then Lostock, Tier, Moti Puretz, Ted, and Hoots to Much make up the top 15, and then Major didn't set a lap in the end, the German, so he'll start from the back with the championship leader, NER Ayrton, who we've got to keep a very close eye on.
Lifeback wants to know who is still in the championship. I'm on the hunt for that right about now, so we can let you know what is going on. Driver standings.
I'd say Ayrton, and Ayrton are in the
Ayrton is
championship.
miles ahead of everybody else. Irapel and Amir actually 5 points between them in the battle for P2. With Womack not too far behind. He's actually only 5 points behind. That's Avi. Yeah, so. Irapel and the 2 Red Bulls fighting away for P2, with Womack sat in a fairly solid P5 for now, with his closest rival 27 points behind him. And in terms of the constructors, Red Bull lead AlphaTauri by a considerable margin. It's doing maths. It's 52 points lead that Red Bull have. Over AlphaTauri, and they've been very consistent over this season.
Yeah, absolutely. It's been the consistency for Red Bull. Mercedes have been lightning fast this season, but it's both attendance and race consistency that has let them down in the points department, and that's why they're about, I think, 100 points behind Red Bull last time I checked. Yeah, Mercedes P2 and P4, but a very long way behind in the championship, and it would need a disaster in these last 5 races of the season for Red Bull to not secure the title. I say 9, 10, 11, 12, 4 races.
Oh, it does look a bit cloudy. You might just get the rain that you're after. Although F1 2021 does like to tell you that it's going to rain at the end of the race, and then that rain never shows up.
Yes. Sometimes Jeff can say there's rain in 10 minutes, and then 10 minutes later he'll say there's rain in 10 minutes. So sometimes you never know. You've got to take the weather forecast with a bit of a pinch of salt, but I mean,
it's a handful of salt.
Yeah, but you know, it's not entirely unlike real life. Sometimes they do get the weather a little bit wrong, but it does feel like they do get it wrong quite a lot in F1 2021. But we have Avi leading up the grid. Interestingly, everyone on softs except the two drivers who couldn't set a lap in qualifying, Major and Ayrton, both on mediums. So they'll be looking to charge their way up the grid on the slower tyre. And switch to the softs at the end. Lifebout said is a two-stop strategy. Yes, if there's a safety car in the right place, a one-stop can work, and is arguably better if you get it to work. But usually it's got to be a two-stop strategy. We've got, who's that that's led the pack? That's Ayrton 2, who has left a massive gap to the rest of the grid. I don't know if that's going to be looked at by the stewards, but that's not for me to say. Yeah, I'm going to switch to position change, and we're going to wait for the lights to come on.
I wonder how Ayrton will get on from the back of the grid. It can be hard to overtake around here, but we'll see how that goes.
Here we go. 3, 4, 5 red lights for the Canadian Grand Prix. And we're underway. They held for a while, but we're off in the ESRL. Race 9, it's a good start for Speed, who gets around the outside. Very late braking from the Mercedes. Keeps it down the inside of Avi, and they're still side by side through turn 2. The two cars behind also side by side, but Speed Alcoholic gets into the lead with a better exit out of turn 2. The Mercedes takes the lead. Avi down to P2. Aces beats Myra into P3 as well. We've got Chaos going down further down the grid. Lostock up 2 positions. Major up 5 positions to P11 already, as Ayrton is still struggling in P15, but still a decent start. As it looks like Myra is putting Aces under pressure, but backs out at the end as Aces goes very deep, and that could open up the door for Myra later on.
From Major De Sola. He's had a bit of contact, it seems, and he's dropped all the way back after gaining all those positions.
Yeah, just as I say that he had a brilliant start, down he goes to the back. He's still in the race, thankfully, but yeah, that's a huge shame for the Alfa Romeo. Ayrton is up 4 now to P13, as Lostock is putting Womack under pressure further back, but not quite, as Womack tries to put Eat Apple under pressure. The Haas driver getting past the Bulgarian and on lap 1. As it looks like there's a spinner. Is that Tier? No, it's Tier just losing a couple of positions in one go. Yeah, I'm not sure what happened there.
He got robbed by a McLaren and a Ferrari at the Wall of Champions. But he's trying to fight back now. But now Ayrton has got involved and has got past both the Ferrari and the Haas. As Tier, I think he has dropped back now as well.
Yeah. Yeah, he could drop back down to Major De Sola now, but Myra is putting Aces under huge pressure, practically pushing the Mercedes through turn 8. Here comes, turn 7. Here comes the Alpine round the outside. Surely not a turn 8. And no, doesn't make it work. Aces versus Kings just keeping the nose there, keeping it down the inside and leaving Myra no space around the outside, but very fairly. As that's Ted out of the race at turn 9. Very easy place to lose it. Is that going to be a safety car, I wonder? We've got yellow flags. Doesn't look like there's a safety car yet. It's still green flags for now. Looks like that McLaren's halfway across the track on the minimap, so a confusing one, but it's good to still see green flag racing, I suppose. Myra is still right on the back of Aces, but unable to get past. Avi still keeping with Speed Alcoholic further up, as it's very difficult to keep an eye on all of the action. There's so many close gaps. As look at the gap between Myra and Aces. The Alpine still just trying to find a way through the Mercedes in these early stages.
Yeah, Speed Alcoholic, I was watching along with his start, and he got a very a fairly poor phase 1 of the start there, as he did have a little bit of a wiggle but he did make up for it in the fight back in the second phase.
Yeah, that can be the way sometimes. Myra nearly had an opportunity on Aces, but couldn't quite make it work because Aces still had the DRS. But this could be it now. Myra down the inside in towards the hairpin. This is a fantastic camera angle of the overtake as the Alpine goes down the inside and takes the position from Aces. But it's not over. Who's going to have the DRS? Is it going to be the Alpine? Yes. So Aces could be vulnerable to Amir actually as well. Here comes the Red Bull into the wall of champion chicane. Aces is going to lose 2 positions in 2 corners, and yeah, there's nothing that the Mercedes can do about that. A couple of mistakes have cost him hugely, and Myra will now be off after the top 2. Speed still under pressure from Avi, so we've got a great race on our hands as Ayrton is fighting his way up as well. He's already up to P10.
Yeah, Major De Sola making a move on the Ferrari. He's going to go all the way around the outside and then get the position done before the braking zone of the first corner. Making up for that big mistake he had. He's back into P11.
Yeah, great stuff from Major. He's still quite a way down on the rest of the pack, but I'm sure he'll fix that as long as he doesn't make another mistake. Look at that gap coming down to Neil already. 1.2, 1.1, 1.0. It's going down so fast, so it's only a matter of time. And I think that move will be done before the end of the lap, and he'll be off after Ayrton, who is 6 seconds up the road. Meanwhile, Avi still chasing after Speed. I don't know if the Red Bull's going to make a move. I think the Red Bull is just going to try and sit behind Speed and make sure that he has that DRS. There's no need to make a move as of yet. You just need to work together sometimes with the car that you are chasing. As Avi maybe breaks a little bit late into the wall of Champions chicane, loses a bit of time.
Romeo's going wheel to wheel down the main straight. Neil went very, very deep. I thought he was giving the position to his teammate, but I'm not quite sure. I think Major De Sola has just got ahead though into the final couple of corners there, and I don't know if they are battling wheel to wheel or there was team orders there, but the way in which they were going side by side down the straight made me think the latter.
It was a good overtake. A good overtake in the end.
Oh, it's Neil spun at turn 2.
Oh no! Oh yeah, there he is. The camera was showing the wrong thing. So Neil still in the race, but yeah, that's going to cost him massively, and he's going to be hoping for a safety car. What other gaps have we got? We've got Ayrton already on the back of ESRL Sicario. Meanwhile, that DRS is going to come into effect on the back straight. So Ayrton looking to make this move as soon as possible. I'm going to switch back to tyres on the detail on the tower. The 3 drivers who've pitted all have gone onto the mediums. Here comes Ayrton, much better exit out of the hairpin. This is going to be a simple move down the inside, and Ayrton up to P8. He was P17 5 laps ago.
It's incredible. He's just so fast, and he's picked his way through. There's a little bit of carnage that's helped him get clear of a few drivers as well, and it won't be long before he's on the back of Womack's, I'd imagine. And since he started on the mediums, he's looking to go long into this race.
Absolutely, he's going to be leading this race after all the soft tyres pit. Major gets himself a 3-second time penalty, as does his teammate immediately afterwards. So Track Limits Grand Prix is going to come into effect here. Avi still on the back of Speed, but Myra has caught up, as has Amir, but Aces has fallen all the way back 3 seconds from this top 4. So this looks like what the battle for the lead is. It's Speed, Avi, Myra and Amir. And Aces will be looking to keep P5 from a charging Eat Apple. That brilliant qualifying lap clearly has not translated to race pace, unfortunately, for the Mercedes driver.
No, certainly not on. It might be very soon that Womack joins the back of that queue as well, and Ayrton will be on the back of it too. So if Aces and ESRL decide to go toe-to-toe, or wheel-to-wheel in this instance, then it might get messy as Aces is coming to the pits.
Yeah, early stop from Aces. He knows he's not on the pace at the moment, so he wants to try and get an undercut and gain some time back. But that's going to be a blessing to Ayrton, who now has one less car to clear. He's going to be hoping they all come into the pits before he catches up to them, because that way he loses the least time possible, although he will hope to at least get DRS before they come in. These top 4 still all within a second of each other, within 5/10 of each other even. It's very, very close up here. All of these four, very tight on pace, but Ayrton, of course, is going to be up with them later on in the race. And I think they're going to find it hard to keep the Dane behind. Here comes Myra practically pushing Avi through the hairpin, but not able to make a move too far back, and Avi also too far back on Speed Alcoholic. Speed is just got too much pace in the latter part of that second sector for the Red Bull, and he dives into the pits, in fact. So Speed doesn't want to give Avi any more DRS and wants these guys to battle while he gets the undercut. Here comes Amir around the outside of Myra. There's contact. He's forced onto the grass and makes a spin. Myra maybe just didn't see him coming, but Amir has a spin and all the way back, just managing to stay ahead of Eat Apple. But yeah, that's what can happen if you get on the grass in the braking zone, and I'm sure the Red Bull will not be happy about that one.
Now, crucially as well, Myra's dropped out of the DRS of Avi, so Avi can start to sit tight a little bit. But Myra's already pulling him back in just a little bit there, so we'll keep an eye on that as that develops. But Irapo is now right on the back of Amir, and Ayrton has managed to get past Womax.
He has indeed, and he's on the back of this train now. Amir, followed by Eat Apple, followed by the championship leader. Here he comes on those medium tyres. Speed, by the way, crucially out just ahead of Major as Ayrton goes for a dive in the hairpin and nearly makes it pay off, but forces Eat Apple to take a compromised line. But I think Ayrton might have compromised himself more than he compromised the Haas. Is Eat Apple going to be able to make a move into turn 1? Needs a very good exit out the final chicane. Is he going to pit? No, he's going to stick with the Red Bull, but I don't think that's close enough to make a move yet, as Ayrton watches on.
Yeah, Speed is very much going to get back into the lead. I think that undercut's going to pay off quite well for him, as it seems he's not far back at all from Avi, who's in the lead at the moment. But it'll be Ayrton who might be the one to watch, but you never know, there might be a safety car later on. It's very likely that the safety car might make its way out around this circuit, and I wouldn't be surprised if we did see one.
Absolutely, Ayrton putting Eat Apple under all sorts of pressure after a mistake from the Haas at turn 6. But Ayrton not able to make the move. That pointless DRS zone coming to play again as the Haas gets a 3-second time penalty, desperately trying to stay ahead of the AlphaTauri. Here comes Ayrton again. Is he going to go for another dive into the hairpin? He thinks about it, makes Eat Apple look in his mirrors, but doesn't quite go for it. But I think he could have the run now into the final chicane. Eat Apple on 25% compared to Ayrton's 69% ERS. Here comes the AlphaTauri. Myra is into the pits, so clearly wanting to get the undercut as well, but Speed, as you said, is going to gain a huge amount of time from doing that early, as Eat Apple makes another mistake and so can't get his way past Amir, but is staying with the Red Bull.
Oh, Aces could come out, and be racing Myra here. It could be very close. Myra's just been let go of the pit limiter. Aces is coming into turn 1 now. I think Myra's just got out ahead. It's a bit too slow for Aces there, but he's managed to catch up by about a second.
Ayrton making another move on Eat Apple. It's another mistake through turn 6 from the Haas. Exactly the same as the last lap. And he's going to be fuming that he's made that so easy for the championship leader. But Ayrton up into P3 and now is going to be chasing the Red Bull duo. With Amir 6 seconds down the road from Avi, and Amir making a mistake into the hairpin, in fact, very, very deep. So that's going to give Ayrton a little bit of time gained. Speed Alcoholic, you can see how much time he's gained on the undercut. He's 4.5 seconds clear of Myra when they were right next to each other before the pit stops. So huge decision that has paid off for Speed Alcoholic. Lostock sets the fastest lap further back on those soft tyres. As Eat Apple does stick with Ayrton for now, but we've got to watch to see if he makes another mistake at turn 6.
Yeah, wait and see. He's keeping on the back of Ayrton now, but you can see he's just dropping away. I think those softs are very much at the end of their working window, and the mediums is just starting to come into their own, really, as we sort of get to their midpoint of their track life. And Ayrton is just reeling in that Red Bull, and he's going to be all over him down the straight toward the Wall of Champions.
Absolutely a huge pace advantage for the AlphaTauri at this point in time. And he's going to be off after Avi as well. We've got to watch to see if the lead Red Bull comes into the pits on this lap. But Amir right now, look at that. Ayrton getting a much better entry into the hairpin and immediately alongside the Red Bull, and this should be done and dusted, I think, for the AlphaTauri. Amir desperately trying to stay ahead, but it is to no avail. The AlphaTauri passed very easily, and both Red Bulls stay out of the pits, so they're going long. I wonder if they're going to try a one-stop as Apple comes in the Haas.
Yeah, Rapalin, I think Aces is going to jump him quite significantly here and gain a lot of time. I think those mistakes might have cost him just a little bit.
Yeah.
And Aces just seems to have put in some decently consistent laps in order to make up the time. But Major De Sola, he's not stopped yet, but he's up in P6 now. So a good recovery thus far.
Absolutely, but the penalty he has might cost him towards the end. In fact, penalties. He's the only driver on track with 6 seconds of penalties. All the rest that you see are on 3 seconds. So Major clearly pushing very hard to get his way back up the grid after the mistake on lap 1, but a little too hard as we've got yellow flags in sector 3. I'm not sure what that's for. It doesn't look like there's
one of the
stop.
Ferraris might have had a little incident out of the Wall of Champions there. They managed to keep it going, but they might have just slowed down a little bit.
Yeah, maybe so. Womax is on the back of Apple. Meanwhile, the Haas driver has just come into the pits. Womax has been out for a couple of laps. Avi, the race leader, comes in. Both Red Bulls in. It's going to be a double stack for the Red Bull pit crew. Let's watch and see how it works. Is Amir going to lose any time here? Sorry. No, he's not actually. They look like they both had a clean stop. So Avi already back out on track. But in fact, fighting with Aces on the exit, as you say, yeah, and Avi just behind the Mercedes, which is crucial. That's going to lose him so much time. He's already 3 seconds down on Myra and a further 4 seconds from speed. So if they are going for the one stop, they're going to have to nurse these tyres all the way to the end. And if they're not going for the one stop, I think they've made a grave error in staying out for as long as they did.
Yeah, certainly. So it's cost them a position to the Mercedes of Aces, who was well out of the battle toward the beginning stages of the first stint, and has now found himself in front of both Red Bulls, with Amir being stuck behind Womax and Irapel.
Oh yeah, Amir's in a DRS train, which is not good at all for the Red Bull. At least Avi doesn't have any DRS to contend with, and is making the move already on Aces down the inside into the Wall of Champions, and Aces doesn't fight that too hard, and in fact gets himself a time penalty at that final chicane. But Avi already down below 10% ERS, despite just coming out the pits. So clearly Avi really struggling with ERS management, and that could really cost him in the latter stages of this race. But yeah, as you say, Amir stuck behind Apple and Womax, and that's going to cost him massively, because he's going to find it very difficult to get past. He's going to need a mistake out of one of these drivers.
Yeah, I think so. He's gonna have to be as patient as he can and just hope that the two of them battle one another so that he can try and find his way through. But of course, the longer he sits behind those two cars, the more time he's losing to Aces and his teammate just up ahead. And of course, that mistake he had before his pit stop as well, that's a real thorn in his side for sure. And actually, just before a couple laps ago, we did have a Ferrari off the circuit. They had a little bit of a spin at the turn 7 and 8 chicane. They got back on track, didn't look like they had any damage, and I noticed that both Ferraris sporting the number 46.
That's a nice coincidence. Ayrton 2 and Moty Perez both 46. As Apple now has got the move done on Womax, it looks like, round the outside into turn 1 and all the way around down to the inside, and has made the move. The Haas driver up into P6. Womax really struggling on ERS.
He was looking up the inside on the exit of turn 2, but he wasn't quite close enough, so he gets right back in. Irapel gets another 3-second time penalty, so that's going to be 6 seconds As we see the track limits Grand Prix is well underway now.
Absolutely, but Womack, Amir, and the top 4 all with no penalties, so you can clearly see the best drivers can keep it within those track limits. And Ayrton, as I said before, is now leading the Grand Prix after all of the soft tyre runners have pitted. But Speed Alcoholic only 3.5 seconds behind, and I think that gap is coming down, which is not something I'm used to saying when Ayrton has a car behind him. Amir is still struggling to get past, though. Womack has got the DRS now, but that lack of ERS could cost him as he goes round the outside for the Wall of Champions. Eat Apple lets him go. We've got a migrating host. I think that's Ted, who's left the session. Yeah, that's all fine. Eat Apple now is under pressure from Amir into turn 1. Round the outside goes the Red Bull, as I was saying earlier, and has the inside for turn 2. Fantastic move from Amir. Into P7 he goes. The reigning champion is not done yet.
No, he's certainly not. He's cleared one car now. He's going to set his sights on Womack and look to try and close that gap to the Mercedes sat in P5 at the moment. He's got 7 odd seconds to catch up to the back of that Mercedes, who has dropped back from Avi fairly considerably in these last few laps. And they're both sort of sat in their own little no man's land, as are his Speed Alcoholic and Ayrton as well, who's just catching up to Aston Martin.
It looks like Womack has let Amir and Eat Apple through. That was odd. Womack just kind of slowed down. I didn't see anything happen to the Bulgarian, so I'm not sure what's gone on there. But Womack loses 2 positions. It did look like he let them through, but that's going to be exactly what Amir needed, and he should be off after aces now. 7 seconds is the gap, as you said. It's a long way to go, but if anyone can do it, it is the reigning champion. He's got a heart of steel, we know that from last season, and he will not give up until the checkered flag. Speed Alcoholic within 2.5 seconds of Ayrton now.
Yeah, maybe Womack wants some ERS is what Lifebout says. He's not got a lot in the tank at all. He's been using a lot, presumably, to stay in this battle, but he's dropped way off. I think Irapel's looking to perhaps sit on the back of Amir and drag himself up toward the top 5 at the moment. And Speed isn't really gaining too much, but that gap has come down fairly considerably and continues to. But Ayrton, of course, still hasn't pitted. He's on 17-lap old medium tyres, and he's definitely looking to maybe go on that one stop.
Yeah, he's going to need to go a lot further than that for a one stop. We've got more yellow flags. That's an Aston Martin out at turn 3. I don't know if we can see.
He was just adhering to blue flags, I think.
Yeah, it could be Lostock just letting cars through. Yeah, could have had a spin as well, but yeah, hopefully it doesn't get in anyone's way. Speed Alcoholic within 2 seconds now of Ayrton at the front, and Myra just about staying in that 2-second range of speed, but struggling to stay on par with the Mercedes for now. Although those newer mediums should mean that Myra could have a chance towards the end of this race. We've got more yellow flags. Who's that?
That's too much spinning at turn 9, I think.
Okay, so luckily doesn't get in the way of anyone, it seems. We've got an Alfa Romeo, that's Major, coming just behind. So hopefully no blue flag shenanigans going on. Eat Apple still within a second of Amir, actually, has stayed within that DRS range. This is great stuff from Eat Apple. We kind of wrote him off as soon as Amir got past, but he's sticking with the Red Bull. So fair credit to him, and if he can stick with the Red Bull throughout this second stint, he might have a good shot at just using Amir as a slingshot to get himself into the top 5, but with mistakes like that through turn 3, maybe not.
Speed Alcoholic 1.1 seconds, 1.0 now. I think he might be looking to try catch up. He's not going to have DRS down if he's not quite close enough. And he's really putting the pressure on Ayrton now, who's got to be coming into the pit soon.
Myra within 2 seconds now, 1.8 of the Mercedes, and if Speed starts battling with Ayrton, that gap is going to come down even further, and Myra will definitely be smelling a podium here at the very least, and will be wanting to get their way into this battle. 1.6, 1.7, it's definitely coming down, but Speed is within DRS range now of the AlphaTauri. I do wonder when Ayrton's going to come in. Ayrton's definitely going for the one stop, but it's going to have to be a few more laps.
We've got a
Ferrari,
spun.
yeah. That's Ayrton 2 spinning at turn 6, nearly getting in the way.
Second time.
Yeah, it is. Nearly getting in the way of his teammate, but luckily manages to stay out of that one. As Ayrton, this pack coming up to the back markers now, this could affect them. Even if the back markers get out of the way swiftly like they should under the blue flags, this could still affect the leaders. Concentration for sure, and it's definitely going to affect them if Ayrton gets DRS from them. It's going to be close. It's not going to be this lap, but maybe the next lap Ayrton will have DRS if those back markers don't get out of the way. Here comes Speed though. It's not going to matter. Because Speed now down the inside. Look at that closing speed from the Mercedes in towards the final chicane and gets his way in front back into the lead of this race. Ayrton with no response, no DRS down to turn 1, and that's a great overtake from Speed Alcoholic, and we'll be hoping to get the DRS off those back markers in towards turn 8.
Yeah, it was an incredible move from Speed. That was a long time coming. From the Mercedes driver, he'd really put in the work to catch back up to Ayrton, who is in a really good position at the moment. He's still not stopped, and I don't know what sort of percentage those tyres are looking at, but he's got a lot of VRS in the bank, and so does Speed. And watching them go through that final chicane there, they were practically glued together. It was incredible as Speed has a little lock-up into the third chicane on the circuit.
Yeah, but he is going to get DRS off these battling cars ahead, but it is going to cost him a lot of time. The two Ferraris side by side and getting in the way. Oh no, Speed Alcoholic has lost time to the back markers, and that's definitely going to be looked at by the stewards. The South African is going to be absolutely furious with that. He has lost not only the position to Ayrton, but also to Myra, and he's into the pits, so he's clearly not happy with that. He wants to get the undercut to make up for what just happened, but now Myra is the one putting the AlphaTauri under pressure. The Alpine has slowly gotten back into this battle and is now challenging for the race lead once more, as Aces versus Kings still on his own in the Mercedes further back, just ahead of Amir, who is now within 2.5. That was 7 seconds. What, about 5 minutes ago, 5-10 minutes ago? That was 7 seconds, and now it's down to 2.5. So Amir is fighting his way back up the grid, but Eat Apple is still staying with him. The Dutchman is driving really well as Myra gets past Ayrton, yeah, into turn 8. How did that happen, Sumo? Did you see it?
I think Myra just really sent it on the brakes there. I'm not quite sure. I only saw the final part of the overtake. But it looked like Myra really just sort of committed onto the inside line of the circuit and got straight past Ayrton, who obviously didn't fight it too hard.
Brave move from the Alpine, getting himself into the lead of the race for the first time, I believe, and not pitting Ayrton's in. So here he comes. He's going to go onto the soft tyres to the end of the race. They're going to be shattered tyres by the end. Speed, by the way, has gone into the mediums. So he's not looking for that pace at the start of the stint.
Here he comes.
But yeah,
Ayrton.
He's
Ayrton's
hoping.
Been released. I think Speed's going to get up ahead of him.
He is, but it's not going to be by much, and Ayrton is going to be catching up very quickly. There is the AlphaTauri. It's going to be very close, and Ayrton right behind within DRS range, and that move should be done extremely quickly on those soft tyres. Although towards the end of the race, I think Ayrton is going to be struggling.
Yeah, certainly. He's got a lot of cars to navigate as well, but I think we might be seeing pit stops from a couple of them. Amir and Avi might try and go all the way to the end on those medium tyres. so don't count them out. But I think Aces and possibly Myra as well might have to come in again.
Yeah, they might well do. I really wish it wouldn't show these awful camera angles all the time. But is that Aces? Major has retired from the session.
Oh, and Amir and Aces are going side by side down the straight toward the final chicane. And I think Amir's got the job done way before the braking zone. Irapel's in on the back of Aces as well. He's done exactly what I said he would and would follow Amir up. We've got yellow flags in sector 3. I think Major's in the pit lane. So I think he's okay. And we're not going to see a safety car there, but Irapel really working well, but Speed's caught into the back of this as well. This is developed into quite an interesting
Here comes
battle.
Speed down the inside.
Up the inside of turn 3. Brave stuff from the Mercedes, and he's got it done.
Perfect move from the Mercedes, and Eat Apple is going to be fuming because he's lost out so much there. Amir did absolutely perfectly what he had to do. He got past the Mercedes of Aces and made sure that
Ayrton gets right on the back of Irapel. He's coming down too, all the way down into turn 8. Sorry to cut you off, Ghost. They're going side by side and they've made it work, and Ayrton's got the place.
He has indeed. Great stuff from Ayrton at Eat Apple. Is going to be devastated at how this has transpired in this last lap or so. We've got another yellow flag. I think that's Neil having a spin.
He's lost his wing.
He's lost his wing, so he's going to have to come in. But yeah, as I was saying, Eat Apple, he was right on the back of Amir, and he had used the Red Bull as a slingshot to propel him all the way up this far, and then he's just been so unlucky as here comes Ayrton. I'll continue that thought because the AlphaTauri down the inside of Aces, who's surely going to make a late braking move around the outside, tries it but goes wide and causes Eat Apple to lose even more time. But is the Dutchman going to have a run into turn 3? No, Aces gets the better exit, and Eat Apple's woes continue. And that, he's retired in the pit lane, so there won't be a safety car as the Haas still trying to get past Aces, but look how much time he's lost, and it's through no fault of his own. He's just been so unlucky with the timings of cars approaching from behind and also getting past them. Amir did what he had to do, but Eat Apple desperately unlucky in these last couple of laps.
Yeah, Speed's all over the back of Amir. He's looking to the inside of the hairpin, but he's not quite committed for it. There's a Ferrari that might just get in the way again. As it peels off to the side of the circuit. Let's not have that again. Speed's looking to get that move done as well. He's going to go up the inside, and I think he'll get it done before the corner, but they might go side by side into the Wall of Champions chicane. No, Speed just inches ahead as Amir comes into the pit.
Yeah, Amir dives in, so not happy on those mediums to go to the end. As Ayrton follows Speed through, as you say, and will still be challenging the Mercedes for what is the provisional race lead, as Avi and Myra still yet to pit. They're going to go onto the softs towards the end of this race, and they're going to be very, very fast. But is it going to be enough? Ayrton is on the softs now, but has not been able to really make a dent on Speed, who is absolutely flying at the moment.
Yeah, he certainly is. He's only made very incremental gains, and I think battling with the likes of Irapel and Amir and Aces as well, that had helped Speed keep Ayrton behind when those soft tyres are in probably their most dangerous spot.
Yeah, absolutely.
Look at that closing under braking zone from Ayrton. He gained a whole 10th just from the braking into that hairpin.
Yeah, Ayrton still definitely faster than Speed at this point, but as you say, fortune has favoured Speed, and it hasn't favoured Eat Apple, who's still not using DRS, which is very odd. Down towards the Wall of Champions, surely will use it now. Yes, he does, but he's going to struggle to get past the Mercedes. Here he comes. He's turned the DRS off again. So is Eat Apple deliberately staying behind Aces? I can't think why.
I'm not too sure. Ayrton is only 3/10 back from Speed. He's all over the back of him. He's all up in Speed's mirrors. He's trying to apply that pressure. He looked like he was going to go for a move into turn 3, but I think Speed just got that slightly better exit, and Ayrton's really applying the pressure now. He might have a look down toward turn 8, will he? He has a little look, but he thinks much better of it. The better opportunity is on the run down to the final 2 corners, so that's where we might see the overtake for P3 and the provisional lead of this race.
He does have the ERS advantage as well, about 35% in favour of Ayrton. And now the move is going to be made, I think. Speed is not going to be able to do much about this. Indeed, he's not using the battery power, so he knows that this is inevitable, but he knows he's going to have the advantage later into the race if he can stay with the AlphaTauri, but that's going to be very tricky. But I think even if he doesn't stay with Ayrton at this point, the last few laps, it's definitely going to be advantageous for the South African as his teammate comes into the pits for a set of softs to the end.
Yeah, if I was Myra and Avi right now, I'd be thinking that, you know, there's only 7 laps left.
Yeah.
Can he get to the end on those tyres before Speed and Ayrton catch up? It might be not so comfortable for Avi as Ayrton is already starting to catch back up, but I think Myra, if I was Myra, I'd stay out, personally.
It could be worth a try. It depends what those tyres are looking like, doesn't it? I'm sure Myra will be thinking about it, considering the possibilities, but that penalty, that 3-second penalty, could be what makes the decision for the Alpine. Maybe Myra will think, well, if I didn't have the penalty, I'd try it. But because of this penalty, I think I'm just only going to be costing myself a couple of positions when they do catch up within that 3-second window. Because once those mediums start to go, they really will go. Same with the softs, which is why I'm not confident that Ayrton can actually keep Speed behind all the way to the checkered flag.
Yeah, certainly, and I think Speed's plan here is to just sit with Ayrton. He's going to follow him as Ayrton makes the progress towards the back of that Red Bull just up the road. At 2.7 is the gap now, as Ayrton's really putting in a shift, but so is Speed, and he's keeping him honest.
He is indeed. Those mediums really working out for the Mercedes. He's been rapid on them all race long. As he gets on the grass, though, at turn 7, that's going to cost him a bit of time. He might need to use a bit of battery to stay with the AlphaTauri. If he doesn't get this corner right, and he didn't get it right. Yeah, that DRS did help him quite a lot, but yeah, he won't have liked that mistake, and it will sort of... A mistake like that is going to seed doubts in your mind. If you're thinking, I need to stay with this car ahead of me, and you make a small mistake that costs you a few tenths, it's going to sow the seed of doubt, and you're going to start doubting your own ability. But I think
closing speed on the DRS, though, he caught right up to the back. He made all that time right back up again, and then Ayrton got a great exit through the final chicane.
Absolutely. I do think Speed is a proven winner, though. He hasn't won in this season of ESRL just yet, but I've seen him win plenty of races in APPF1, and when he's consistent, when he's on the ball, Speed is a driver who can be unbeatable, even from the likes of Ayrton, because the Mercedes is keeping up. A little bit of a slide again through turn 7, but it hasn't cost him too much. Although that back marker up ahead, actually that's not a back marker, that's Avi. I thought that was a back marker.
No, that's Avi. I've been watching that gap now as he's come into sight as the Red Bull, and there's a black blinking red light on the back of the Red Bull. So Ayrton knows he's going to be very vulnerable as he's low on battery. I think Avi's on 14%. So this would be a simple move for probably both of them. But if Ayrton can get past first and keep Speed behind, that could be crucial.
But Ayrton didn't get the DRS, which is huge, because it's going to mean Speed is staying with the AlphaTauri and might think about making the move. But what an exit out of the final chicane from Ayrton. No chance for the Mercedes. Although Avi is now going to hold up the AlphaTauri, so Ayrton needs to find his way past, and quickly. The championship leader trying to make a move into turn 3, maybe doesn't quite get a good enough exit to do so, but he has seen that flashing red light. But he's going to be very conscious of the Mercedes behind, and he's going to know that as soon as he gets in a tussle with the Red Bull, Speed is going to be there to take advantage, especially as those soft tyres start to dip out towards the end of this race.
Yeah, this is a very interesting battle between two very quick drivers. And whoa, look at the exit Ayrton gets. He's almost in the back of that Red Bull car. Speed's making a move as well, but he's blocked by the Red Bull as Ayrton goes all the way around the outside to claim the position. He's going to get it, I think, with the better grip on that soft tyre. Speed looking for a way through as well. He does not want to let Ayrton run away with this. And they're both going to have DRS going down towards the final chicane. Speed's got a lot of speed, quite ironically, but he's not got enough to sit on the back of Avi, and they're both going to have DRS down to turn 1.
Yeah, Ayrton's still with the ERS advantage, but it's down to 20% now, although Speed is coming on the fringes of that 10% marker where you start losing power. So Speed needs to be saving that battery now, but all the while keeping with the AlphaTauri to try and make a move towards the end of this race. But those 22-lap-old mediums for Myra are still working. 4 laps to go. Can Myra do this? But Speed has made a mistake through turn 4, I think that was. Now into turn 6 and 7. And already out of that 1 second range and is using the battery to try and get back in it. This could be crucial. If Speed drops out of the second range, then he's going to be really struggling to make the move on the AlphaTauri late into this race, even with the tyre advantage. And yeah, it's out of range, 1.1 seconds. So that's a huge advantage for Ayrton at this point. 6.5 seconds is the gap to Myra now, and I think there's going to be 3 laps to go at the end of this one. Myra is going to be in trouble because that gap has come down about 1.5 seconds this lap.
Yeah, Myra got a lot more battery in the tank though than Ayrton, about 56%. It's Ayrton's 27. It's 6.8 seconds, but shave 3 seconds off of that gap, and that is the time that Ayrton has to make up. So 3.8 seconds for the AlphaTauri, and Speed's caught back up again.
He has indeed. He got a much better exit out of the final chicane than Ayrton, which is not something we've seen this race. Ayrton has been absolutely unbeatable in that final chicane all race long. Not anymore. Speed doing what he needed to do, and he's back within DRS range. Now he needs to stay there. There's going to be 2.5 laps left. That gap is 6.5 seconds. Ayrton is slowing down here. Those soft tyres are starting to give way, and Myra could be in for a first race win here.
Yeah, Myra really looking after those medium tyres, and it was definitely one to watch. They found themselves in just a really good position in this race, and have done an excellent job, I think.
Here comes Speed, sorry to interrupt you, down the inside at the Wall of Champions chicane for second place. He's made the move, the Mercedes, and it's simple in the end. Ayrton doesn't fight it too hard. He's not going to have to DRS the AlphaTauri, and Speed gets himself into P2. He still has no ERS left, so he could still be vulnerable, but those softs have started to give way, and the one stop hasn't worked for the race win for Ayrton. But we've got to remember, he did come from the back of the grid. He had to try something different, and I mean, it hasn't worked to get him the race win, it seems, but I mean, to get him a podium even from all the way back there is still a monumental effort from the championship leader, showing us why he's there. But I don't think this is his day unless he can stay with the Mercedes, which he is doing at the moment, and that ERS advantage could come into play as we start getting onto the last lap. But that gap is 6.3. It's not coming down at all, and Myra will be starting to think, is this my day for a race win, even with Ayrton here?
Yeah, certainly so. I mean, I think Speed and Ayrton going wheel to wheel has helped out, and I think Ayrton's on the offensive again. Could see another move into the Wall of Champions chicane. Ayrton around the outside gets the job done before the corner, and of course Speed won't have much to attack back with. This is a double DRS zone, so Ayrton will just run away with it. I think Ayrton is just. I think Ayrton might have the advantage here. We'll see what Speed can do, but he's got very little battery to play with, so does Ayrton. So this is an equal fight between the top two. 5.3 is now the gap. 2 seconds to make up on this final lap of the race, and if they fight, it's not going to happen. Myra's just got to make no mistakes and see themselves all the way to the end.
What a stint it would be for Myra. 26 laps on the medium tyres.
Oh, and the rain's coming now as well.
Oh, wow. It's the final lap.
First drops.
It's not going to matter too much, but it could just be A little loss of grip in these last couple of corners as Myra comes through the hairpin now. 5 seconds is the gap, but who's going to get P2? If Myra does take the win here, I see the rain, but speed, it's affecting him. He hasn't been able to get the exit at the hairpin that he wanted, and he's not going to be able to make the move into the Wall of Champions chicane.
Drag race to the line. It's going to all depend on the exit.
Oh,
but
he's going to make the move. No, he doesn't. He's more sensible than that. But it is Myra who wins the Canadian Grand Prix on that 26-lap-old medium stint. Ayrton takes P2, speed just 2/10 behind at the line. So close between them, but the ERS saving is what got Ayrton that position. Because if he had been in the same ERS situation as Speed 1 lap ago, then he wouldn't have been able to get past the Mercedes and would have been stuck in P3. But still, a great battle between these two throughout this second stint, and or second and third stints. Avi gets a monumental P4, but I think the strategy might have been what let down Red Bull today. They didn't quite keep on board with the cars that they clearly still had the pace with, because we could see in the first stint how close they were, and of course the mistake from Amir cost him, but I think Avi definitely could have been up there with a better strategy today.
Yeah, certainly Myra's going to celebrate that one. An amazing stint on those medium tyres to take it all the way to the end, and of course Ayrton getting driver of the day. He started at the back, finished P2. That's 16 positions for the AlphaTauri. I can't speak at the moment, but that Alpine, the Finn taking the deserved top step of the podium. What an incredible drive, and very good knack for the tyres.
The first driver to take a win this season while Ayrton has been on the grid that is not Ayrton. But they nearly did it in Baku. It was so close in Baku. They lost the race win at the final straight and indeed went down to third. So redemption for that day for Myra 2705 as they take the race win in the Alpine, with Ayrton 1.9 seconds behind, 4.9 down the road. But Myra managing to hold those tyres out to the end. Speed Alcoholic takes a what will be possibly a disappointing P3 after that race today, but still a good podium for the South African. Avi takes P4, Amir P5 with the fastest lap as Irapol takes P6. Ace is down in P7 in the end. Womax the Bulgarian down in P8. Sicario P9, and then Tia, Ayrton 2, P11, Lostock, Moti Peretz, Hoots to Much the last finisher, and then Neil, Major and Ted all unable to finish this race, with Ted a crash and the other two in the pit lane, I think.
Yes, that is correct.
So what a race in Canada. It was a pleasure to watch from my perspective, and I'm sure it was from yours as well, Sumo. It was a fantastic strategic race in the end in Canada, with Myra taking the spoils after hauling those mediums 26 laps all the way to the end, and keeping Speed, Alcoholic and Ayrton at bay, which is not something that just any old driver can do. But Ayrton coming up all the way from the back to finish P2 in the end after a brilliant battle with Speed at the end. Any thoughts, Sumo?
Yeah, that was certainly a great, entertaining race, and there's some really good on-track action between a lot of the drivers. It's very hard to overtake around here a lot of the time, but everybody making it work, everybody giving the room that other drivers deserve, and it was really great to watch. And I was very shocked not to see a safety car, if I'm perfectly honest with you.
Yeah, me too.
That's not a bad thing at all. Like, that's an incredible thing, especially around a track like Canada. And yeah, I think Myra might be getting a quick thumbs up from Checo Perez with that tyre management, getting themselves the win there. What a great stint and what a great race.
Absolutely, and this is just what you come to expect from ESRL. thank you for the kind words in chat, Lifebout, and thank you all for watching. We've got 6 people watching and 5 likes, so one of you has not pressed the like button. Honestly. But thank you all for interacting with the stream. Thanks for all the comments and being in the live chat, all of you. And I hope those of you watching after the fact enjoy what was a brilliant race from our perspective. We'll be back next week for more ESRL. I think we are at... where are we? We're at Suzuka next week, Japan, which is going to be very tricky with elite settings. That's Sector 1. Absolute nightmare. I think we'll see quite a few spins with people getting on the curbs there. But yeah, it should be an interesting one, and then followed by Mexico and Brazil is going to be a doozy to finish off the season. But it's still advantage Ayrton in the championship. I don't think anyone can really catch him unless he doesn't race in any of the last 3 races. But I mean, it's well deserved from the Dane. And I think he's definitely going to be the man to beat next season as well.
Yeah, for sure. He's been so quick, so dominant over everybody else, and being the driver who's won the majority of the races thus far, you've got to pin him as the champion for a little while, as long as he's still here in the league.
Absolutely. As Lifebout said, the spin circuit. The Spinella circuit is Suzuka. Yeah, I think we're going to see quite a few. Yes, we're going to see quite a few people in the gravel, I think. But who knows? I did underestimate ESRL today. So yeah, I hope that everyone stays on track and everyone has a great race. But it is a very tricky track. So I look forward to seeing all of you there. I look forward to seeing you there, Sumo. Yeah, 3 races to go. It's been a great season so far, and hopefully it ends just as well as it has been so far. But in the meantime, thanks for watching. I have been Ghost.
And I have been Sumo.
And we will see you next week. Goodbye.
Bye-bye.